In this video, we're going to talk about how to complete the skill called Computations from a circle graph. Computations is a fancy way for calculating or crunching numbers. We're going to look at two examples and I will show you how to solve them using a proportion. So if you don't have your calculator, make sure you go and grab it so that you have it handy. Our first example says the circle graph shows how the annual budget for a company is divided by department. And if you're not sure, an annual budget is just how much money has been allotted per year for a company to spend. If the amount budgeted for engineering and support combined is $20 million, what is the total annual budget? All right, so in this question, they're asking us for the total budget. In our proportion, we're going to use part to whole equals part to whole. And when they're asking us to solve for the total annual budget, that's going to be a whole amount, the total budget, okay? So on one side of the proportion, we're going to have money. And on the other side of the proportion, in the graph, you see that they've given us our data again, but in percent. So on the other side of the proportion is where your percent values will go. So total annual budget is what they're asking us to solve for. So that is our unknown. And then the other information they give us, that they share with us, is that our budgeted amount for engineering and support is $20 million combined. So the part that belongs to support and engineering will go in the numerator on the money side. It is just part of the money for the budget. Okay, so it will go up here in the numerator. 20 million. Then the information they've given us not only in dollars, but also in percent. So we're going to look at the graph and we see here that engineering is 20% and support is actually 20% as well. So we're going to add those two percents together. Excuse me, sorry, the 20 plus the 20% is 40%. So the $20 million going to support and engineering is 40% of their budget. Okay. On this side with percent, we're going to split that 40% into a fraction, right? We need both numbers over here on the other side because we already have an unknown here. So percent means out of 100. So 40% is 40 over 100. So finishing off our proportion here, we'll put 40 over 100 on the right side. It does lend, I believe, some sort of logic that if support and engineering alone is $20 million, the total annual budget should be something significantly larger than that. Okay, so our variable, our unknown, what we're solving for, should be a number larger than $20 million. All right, so from here we're going to use cross products to solve our proportion. We're going to multiply the diagonal that has both numbers. So we're taking 20 million times 100, and that's a big number. 20 million times 100 is another 2 zeros. And then cross products are always the same, so that means this diagonal also has to be the same. So 40 times some number gives us this long number. Okay. So we're going to take and work backwards. This number divided by 40 will give us our total annual budget. So that's where you'll want to go to your calculator. and we get $50 million. Okay. The total annual budget, $50 million. And like we said, we did expect it to be significantly larger than the $20 million that represented the 40%. Okay, let's try a second example. Again, you see your circle graph with percents represented below. And the story problem says citizens of a city were asked to choose their favorite pet. The circle graph shows how the citizens answered. If 110,000 citizens answered the question, how many chose cats, dogs, or hamsters as their favorite pet? Okay, so again, we're going to do part to whole equals part to whole. This time on one side, we don't have money, but instead we have citizens. On the other side, looking at your circle graph, we again have percents. Looking to the information they've given us, it says if 110,000 citizens answer the question. So that's the total number of people surveyed. So on the side that has citizens, not the part, but the whole number of people that were questioned is 110,000. So that goes in the denominator for the whole amount. What they're asking us to find is how many chose cats, dogs, or hamsters. Okay. So how many citizens chose cats, dogs, or hamsters as their favorite pet? So our unknown is the part of the citizens that chose cats, dogs, or hamsters. On the percent side, we're going to have to add up the percents involved for cats, dogs, and hamsters. So dogs, 25, cats, 23, and hamsters, 8. 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 8 is 16. 3, 4, 5. So how many chose cats, dogs, or hamsters? That's 56% coming from those 3 categories. And again, we're going to take that 56% and split it into a part and a whole. Because percent is always out of 100, percent means out of 100, we're going to have 56 over 100 over on the percent side. And here you're going to take to your calculator with your cross products. So we're going to multiply this diagonal, 56 times 110,000. And this diagonal will then also be the same. So something times 100 equals, what is that? 6,160,000. So we're working backwards. 6,160,000 divided by 100, or a 2 decimal point move, is 61,600. So of the 110,000 citizens surveyed, 61,600 of them chose cats, dogs, or hamsters as their favorite pet. I hope seeing how to set up these proportions has been helpful. Go ahead and give this skill a shot. If you have any questions, make sure you ask your teacher.